Dr. Peter Swanz. I am a naturopathic physician in Louisville, Kentucky, with a special expertise in diabetes prevention and prediabetes reversal. Today I'm going to share some information that may shock you, but also potentially save lives. Let's start with a simple question. Did you know that according to the CDC, 57 million Americans are pre-diabetic and 24 million are diabetic? That is nearly 1/4 of our population. This disease does not generate the fear it should because it can simmer for years, damaging the heart, kidneys, eyes, and other organs. And then it often only surfaces in middle age and is accepted by many doctors as a simple part of the aging process. There should be an outcry, as in the next 24 hours, 2,200 people will be diagnosed with diabetes, over 500 will die from it, and almost 220 will go blind or have an amputation. The complications continue: heart disease, high blood pressure, nervous system damage, liver disease, and Alzheimer's. So why is there an epidemic of diabetes? Certainly there is a genetic component to diabetes, yet people have full control as to whether they develop diabetes by the choices they make in their diet and exercise. The dietary problem has to do with poor eating habits and its consequences that include excessive weight, especially abdominal fat, lack of nutrients from junk and processed foods, and of course, lack of exercise. Our food habits have digressed over time, with sugar and grain consumption becoming the bulk of our caloric intake. There is almost a 40-fold increase with sugar alone. Here is a clue to where the sugar comes from. People typically eat foods for the convenience they provide, disregarding the high carbohydrate content and low nutritional value, which can be as unhealthy as refined sugar if overeaten. Poor food habits induce stresses to the human body that promote all kinds of diseases. Junk food will increase consumption of refined sugar, sodium, and saturated fat, while reducing consumption of vegetables, fibers, key minerals, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, antioxidants, and beneficial probiotic bacteria. In addition to the nutritional depletion, portion size and calorie intake has been increasing since the 1970s. Portion sizes were about half of what they are today. Take a look at how our eating habits have affected us. 20 years ago, no state had a high obesity rate, and most were less than 10%. Today, no state has an obesity rate below 10%, and most are over 25%. Our healthcare system is not promoting prevention. We are waiting for disease conditions to set in and then trying to manage the symptoms. This is why experts are predicting America will go bankrupt from our overwhelming and growing healthcare costs. Individuals, families, and companies are already feeling the financial effects of a disease care system. The status quo is not sustainable, especially when the CDC is predicting that if nothing changes, out of all infants born today, 1 out of 3 will become diabetic as adults. The bad news is that there is no silver bullet to solve this problem. The good news is diabetes is preventable when given the right tools and knowledge to make positive changes in our health. Let's analyze the progression of diabetes. For most people, it starts with bad eating habits that result in excess weight gain and nutritional deficiencies. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, defects in insulin production and receptor sensitivity that cause high blood sugar to build up in the body. In addition, patients experience elevated lipid levels such as triglycerides and LDL cholesterol. Years before people are diagnosed with diabetes, they fluctuate in a pre-diabetic zone. In our current disease care system, the typical doctor will monitor elevated blood sugar levels and wait for people to become diabetic before offering medication and treatment suggestions. What is often not explained is that for over 90% of the people who do go on to conventional care and diabetic medication, the complications are not prevented. Conventional care for diabetes and prediabetes is horribly inadequate. Some diabetics will be prescribed high blood pressure medications and/or statin drugs. Once diabetic, people are put on certain diabetic medications and recommended an eating plan that is useless and even dangerous for people with diabetes. The statistics show that these steps are ineffective for the majority of the diabetic population. Less than 12% of diabetics being treated with medication have their blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol under control. The simplest way to beat this disease is to prevent it. This was proven in a landmark study in 2001 showing that pre-diabetics can avoid becoming diabetics with weight management, correct eating habits, and regular exercise. The easiest way to determine if you are a pre-diabetic is to answer a questionnaire available with this presentation that will highlight the probability of pre-diabetes. So how can pre-diabetes reversal be accomplished? First, we need to get rid of abdominal fat as it drives metabolic syndrome. People then will see immediate changes as damaging inflammatory chemicals released by fat cells are reduced. People also need to have healthy food habits, optimally eating 3 times a day, eating fruits, veggies, and fiber in combination with protein, which gives the body crucial amino acids needed to build muscle mass instead of fat, and minimize consumption of junk food, which is void of nutrients. The nutritional deficiencies are important because people who are pre-diabetic are often deficient in zinc, chromium, magnesium, and are low in essential fatty acids. Exercise of some sort is recommended too, even if just walking for 20 minutes a day. To make all of this possible, a structured system needs to be used. My system works like this. I have people eat according to a meal plan that puts their body into a biochemical state to burn excess fat, especially abdominal fat, while not having any hunger. In between meals, a nutritional snack is taken to prevent any cravings and maintain stable blood sugar and insulin levels. There will be one program for men and a different one for women. 7 different meal plans are provided so that there is a different breakfast, lunch, and dinner for each day of the week. If the suggestion of 60 grams of beef or the 35 grams of spinach for dinner does not appeal to you, simply substitute a protein or carb as shown. There is enough structure and variety to make this system enjoyable for nearly every participant. A 4-page symptom questionnaire is completed before this eating plan is started, and the same questionnaire is completed at the end of 3 weeks. We will evaluate 14 health conditions. The results of the questionnaire will vary for individual participants. In the beginning, it may show 4 severes, 6 moderates, and 4 mild conditions. Completing the questionnaire a second time helps us to know the specific cause of the symptoms. They could be due to bad food habits, excessive weight, nutritional deficiencies, or a chronic condition. The new results may now change to 1 severe, 2 moderates, and 4 milds. To a trained specialist, this provides a wonderful insight into the root cause of your symptoms and a roadmap on the steps needed to prevent diabetes and promote wellness. The information will be provided and explained at the end of 3 weeks, where a continued action plan is discussed to cover the following: abdominal fat status and how much more weight needs to be lost, blood sugar support needs if unhealthy eating habits are resumed, existence of potential food sensitivities and allergens that may need addressing, the possibility of chronic conditions needing attention, correcting nutritional deficiencies to prevent chronic conditions from developing, and a host of other important wellness markers that will be explained. Diabetes is costing America $174 billion a year because people are waiting to become a diabetic instead of preventing it. If these disease markers are ignored, over time they will become disease conditions. Please don't be the last one to jump onto the prevention bandwagon. The greatest gift of health you can give yourself is to determine if you are a pre-diabetic. And if so, take the required steps needed to reverse this dangerous condition before it's too late. And in the process, you will experience weight loss, increased energy, better sleep, and overall health and wellness improvement. Thank you again for listening. To learn more about diabetes prevention, go to www.reverseprediabetes.com/Dr. Swanz or visit my website at www.vitalforcenaturopathy.com. You can also call my office directly at 502-855-3688. Peace and health always, and take care.